Good morning, everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the chapter 15, our environment. Okay, so basically in this chapter, children, we will discuss about the things present in our surrounding and they're important to us and what one should contribute to the environment to maintain the balance of an ecosystem. Okay, so just think, children, what we get from our environment. What do we get from our environment? So basically, there are few needs of the human and that we satisfied from the environment. Say for example, not only human, but in case of all living beings, okay, who depend on the environment like plants as well as animals, right, children? So plants are also depend on the surrounding because the plants are photosynthetic, right? They are the autotrophs and they synthesize their own food with the help of the sunlight, right? They require oxygen, carbon dioxide as respiratory gases to perform their metabolic activities. Like plants require carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and the chlorophyll to synthesize their own food. Well, in case of other animals, children, who are herbivorous, especially, right? So they are depend on the plants for the source of food. Even those who are omnivores, they also depend on the plants and the animals for their survival. Not only for the food, children, but for the shelter, okay, and for the basic need of the organisms, we depend on the environment. And children, can you just think for a couple of minutes that what we contribute to maintain the balance of an ecosystem? What we contribute, what are the human activities that saves our environment? So children, we are doing nothing for our environment, just we are keep on polluting the environments by releasing the lots of waste in our environment, right? So the human activities like release of the plastic, release of the industrial waste, excessive use of fertilizers and the harmful chemicals in the agricultural field, release of the harmful gases from the industries, and of course the medicinal waste, okay, that is especially the non biodegradable, right? So there's lots of waste and yeah, also the electronic waste, right? We use the electronic devices, so that also we throws out into the dustbin. If it is not of use, we never give it for the recycle, right? So we just keep simply throw it in the environment that remains there in the soil for longer period of time, which will not get decomposed because they are the made up of plastics, they are the made up of metals, which is non biodegradable. And this waste from the human activities leads to environmental pollution, right? So basically in this chapter we are going to discuss about what are the things present in our surrounding and how we pollute it and what one should contribute to prevent the environmental pollution. Apart from that, we will also discuss about the food chain and the ecosystem in this chapter. So let's start with the very first activity from the topic 15.1. And what is that? What happens when we add our waste to the environment? What happens, children, basically when we throws the waste into the environment? So before this, children, you should know about the type of the waste. Okay, so there are two type of the waste. biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Okay, this is the very important topic from the chapter that you should know about the two type of the waste. So children, what do you mean by biodegradable waste? Biodegradable means what? Bio stands for the living and degradable stands for what? Decomposable. Okay, so biodegradable waste is especially the kind of waste which contain organic matter, and which is simply degradable by the soil microorganism, while non-biodegradable waste contain inorganic matters and that is non-decomposable, which is not degradable by the soil microorganism. So what this organic matter consists of in a biodegradable waste? So biodegradable waste contain the waste from the kitchen, okay, like tea leaves, peeled vegetables, right? Means the peel that we have removed out from the vegetables like potato and other vegetables. So which contain mostly the organic matter, right? Like carbohydrate, proteins and fats and all that. So that is degradable easily by the soil microorganism. Okay, so what is the definition of biodegradable substances or biodegradable waste? The waste which is rich with the organic matter and that waste is biodegradable, which is decomposable by the soil microorganism. The waste which simply get convert into the simple substances by the soil microorganism is known as biodegradable substance or waste. And what is non-biodegradable? The waste which is not decomposable by the soil microorganism is known as non-biodegradable waste. What are the examples of the biodegradable waste, children? As I told you, the kitchen waste, okay, which contain the peeled vegetables waste, okay, and the tea leaves, right, or we can say the still food. Then from the sewage waste, okay, the sewage waste contain again the organic matter which is also decomposable. Then agricultural waste includes the tree leaves, okay, or the plant dried matter which is biodegradable. Then the waste from the animals, okay, their urine and their uh, the cow dung we can say, or other animals waste also, so that is again biodegradable, rather we can say, which is important for the agricultural field because that contain lots of minerals and the organic acids which can be used in the preparation of manure, right? So agricultural waste, sewage waste, domestic waste, kitchen waste, right? These are the biodegradable waste. And what are the examples of non-biodegradable waste? So that contain plastic, okay, metal, rubber, glass, okay, and thermocol, right? So these are the non-biodegradable substances. अब इसके लिए कोई एक सोर्स नहीं है बच्चों, जैसे कि प्लास्टिक कई एक जगह से आएगा ऐसा नहीं है. प्लास्टिक घर से भी एज ए वेस्ट निकल सकता है, इंडस्ट्री से भी निकल सकता है. मेटैलिक वेस्ट हॉस्पिटल्स वेस्ट में भी हो सकते हैं, इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट में भी हो सकते हैं, डोमेस्टिक वेस्ट में भी हो सकते हैं. रबर का भी सेम है, ग्लास का भी सेम है. सो ऐसा ऑल एरिया से ये नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट जो है वो रिलीज किया जाता है एंड दैट वी थ्रो सिंपली इनटू द एनवायरनमेंट, दैट वी सिंपली थ्रो इनटू द डस्टबिन which ultimately get thrown into the soil, which will not get segregate properly, so that leads to environmental pollution. एक्चुअल में हमने क्या करना चाहिए, वी शुड सिग्रीगेट द वेस्ट, वी शुड सिग्रीगेट द वेस्ट। सिग्रीगेट का मतलब क्या होता है, सेपरेट। We should have the separate dustbin in our house in order to keep the biodegradable waste separate and the non-biodegradable waste separately. Simply what we have to do, we just have to throw the kitchen waste like tea leaves or still food or the peeled out material from the vegetables, that we can throw in the separate dustbin. And whatever the other waste that we generate in our home, like plastic material, okay, or broken rubbers or the broken glass or any other disposed metal waste, that we can throw in the separate dustbin. Okay, so when we segregate the waste, you can distribute this waste accordingly. So you can give this waste to the biodegradable waste you can keep separate, and non-biodegradable you can give for the recycling. Okay, so that recycling separates that waste material and that can be recycled in order to produce the new substances, right? So this will not cause the soil pollution because the rubber, plastic, glass and the metal materials are non-biodegradable. Rather we can say they are recalcitrant. Focus on this word, recalcitrant. Recalcitrant means what? The substances that remains in the soil as it is for longer period of time, and that gradually makes the soil barren, means non-fertile, and leads to the soil pollution. So they are called recalcitrant substance. Okay, so the plastic, rubber, glass, metal, they are the recalcitrant. Even some chemicals like weedicides, okay, like weedicides, some insecticides, pesticides, right, they are also non-biodegradable. Their chemical composition is quite complex for microorganisms to decompose, and hence those substances remains in the soil and makes the soil barren gradually. Okay, so what is our role for this? What we have to do? We have to segregate the waste called biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So in this activity the same thing is shown, that you have to separate the waste and you have to bury that under the soil and observe that after the 15 to 20 days. Okay, you have to observe the waste again and again after the interval of 15 days and try to categorize the waste into the biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Okay, this is about the activity 15.1. Now children, focus on the first paragraph, what is written here. We have seen in the chapter life processes that the food we eat is get digested by the various enzymes in our body, right? In life processes, in chapter the topic nutrition, in topic digestive system in human, we discussed that the various enzymes are there in our alimentary canal, right? And those enzymes are responsible for the digestion of the various substances. Like amylase acts on the carbohydrate, pepsin acts on the protein, while lipases acts on the lipid, and they carry out the simplification of those complex substances. Have you ever wondered that why the same enzymes does not break down the everything we eat? Why different enzyme acts on the different substrate? Why not single enzyme can decompose all the kinds of the food that we eat? Why this is so? Because there is a specificity because there is a specificity in between the enzyme and the substrate. In order to break the specific bond in between the different kind of food, the different enzymes are required. Like in order to break uh, the bond between the two glucose, the different enzyme is required. In order to break the peptide bond between the amino acids in the protein, different enzymes are required, right? So one enzymes cannot breaks down the all kind of substances, right? So enzymes are the specific in their action. As I told you, they are specific in their action. The specific enzyme can simplify the specific complex substance. Okay, so the specific enzymes are needed for the breakdown of a particular substance. This is the answer for the question mentioned above. That is why we will not get any energy if we try to eat coal. ये क्वेश्चन बहुत बार पूछा जाता है बच्चों, बोर्ड एग्जाम में मैंने बहुत बार देखा है कि इसके ऊपर जस्टिफिकेशन टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन आता है. On which sentence? Why do we not get any energy if we try to eat coal? Can anyone guess that why do we not get energy if we try to eat coal? Now some students will raise their voice and ask, ma'am, why one should eat coal? Okay, we know everything that coal we cannot eat, right? But even if you try to eat, why you will not get any kind of energy? Because there is no any enzyme present in our body that can simplifies the coal into the more simple substance. Okay, what is the answer for this question? Even if you try to eat coal, why you will not get energy? Because there is no any such enzyme present in our body that can degrade that coal and produce the energy. If you research on this and if you develop any such enzyme which will decompose the particular substance which is actually not edible nowadays, but even if you eat that substance after discovery of that particular enzyme, if you try to eat, yes, you will get the energy. Why do we not eat plastic? Why do we not eat plastic? Why do we not eat metal? Because we don't have any such enzyme that can produce energy after degradation of those substances. Children, why do we not eat grasses directly? Grass क्यों नहीं खाते हम लोग directly? Why do we eat on the specific vegetables only? Why do we not eat grasses? Because the grasses contain high amount of cellulose. And we don't have enzyme. Yes, very good. We don't have enzyme called cellulase. We don't have any enzyme like a cellulase that can act on the cellulose in our intestine to degrade it and to generate energy. But student, the cattle can eat on such a grasses because the cattle intestine have the enzyme called cellulase. Cattle's intestine produce the enzyme called cellulase that can act on the cellulose to generate energy in their body, which we do not have in our intestine. So that's why we do not eat the grasses directly. Okay, now because of this, the many human made material like a plastic will not be broken down by the action of bacteria and other saprophytes. See, the waste we release which is non-biodegradable like the plastic or the metal or the glass or the rubber. So for degradation of such substances, there are no bacteria or the fungus species in the soil that can decompose. हाँ, अगर आप ऐसा रिसर्च कुछ करते हो कि एकदम हाई कॉम्प्लेक्स प्लास्टिक डिग्रेडिंग भी बैक्टीरिया अगर आप बना देते हैं, या फिर मेटल डिग्रेडिंग बैक्टीरिया, या फिर रबर डिग्रेडिंग बैक्टीरिया अगर आप डिस्कवर करते हैं, so that can degrade such a substances, but naturally there are no such a bacteria or saprophytes in the soil that can decompose such a matter, and hence such a matter is known as non biodegradable substances. Okay, so this material will be acted upon by the physical processes like heat and the pressure, but under the ambient condition found in our environment. Okay, क्या होता है, ये मटेरियल थोड़े से ट्रांसफॉर्म होते हैं. ओके, जैसे हमने थ्रो किए हैं वैसे के वैसे नहीं रहते. देयर कलर चेंजेस, देयर समवॉट स्ट्रक्चर चेंजेस ड्यू टू व्हाट, due to the heat and the high pressure, but under the ambient conditions. Ambient matlab the normal conditions of the environment, so that substances can get transformed but not completely get degraded. Okay, and the substances that are broken down by the biological processes are said to be biodegradable. इसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन आता है, differentiate between biodegradable and non-biodegradable substances. So you can write this definition. The substances that are broken down by the biological processes are said to be biodegradable. How many of these substances you buried were are biodegradable? From activity 15.1, like a kitchen waste, sewage waste, agricultural waste, okay, they are the biodegradable. Substances that are not broken down in this manner means by the biological processes, are said to be non-biodegradable, and these substances may be inert. Inert means they do not react at all and simply persist in the environment for a longer period of time, and of course they may harm the various members of the ecosystem. Some of the non-biodegradable matter also harmful for the soil microorganisms. Right? Now focus on these three questions. Why are some substances biodegradable and some non-biodegradable? So this depends on the bacteria and the saprophytes present in the soil. The substances which can be get broken down by the soil microorganisms, so they are categorized as biodegradable, right? While there are no such a bacteria or saprophytes in the soil that can produce the enzymes that works with the non-biodegradable substances, and hence they remains in the soil, right? So give any two ways in which the biodegradable substances would affect the environment. Okay, so how biodegradable substances, see children, non-biodegradable is not written, biodegradable. Give any two ways in which the biodegradable substances would affect the environment. So what you have to write here, the some biodegradable substances during the decomposition releases the bad smell, due to which we feel unpleasant in that particular area, right? And that also produces some microorganisms that can cause the diseases, or the degradation of the organic matter on the open street leads to the spread of the disease in the community, right? So in this way you are going to write for this answer, give any two ways in which the non-biodegradable substances would affect the environment. So non-biodegradable substances remains in the soil as it is, that persist for the long period of time, and that leads to soil pollution. It also disturbs the life of the soil microorganism if they are harmful, makes the soil barren gradually, makes the soil unfertile, and ultimately leads to soil pollution, also kills the soil microorganism. Right? Now let's focus on the next topic called an ecosystem. Ecosystem मतलब क्या होता है बच्चों? Ecosystem ये particular ऐसा area है where the abiotic and biotic components interacts with one another. Okay, like फॉर एग्जाम्पल पॉन्ड है, ओके, और हम बोल सकते हैं कि डैम्प है, या तो हम बोल सकते हैं कि एक एग्रीकल्चरल फील्ड है, या तो फिर गार्डन है, फॉरेस्ट है, ओके, ये जो एरियाज है, सो दे आर कॉल्ड एन इकोसिस्टम. व्हाई? बिकॉज इन दैट पर्टिकुलर एरिया the abiotic and biotic components interacts with one another, okay, where the inorganic material on which the organic things are dependent, like for example in a forest, see, once the rainfalls takes place, so that leads to formation of the grasses and the beautiful plants in that. And wherever the high diversity of the plants are there, of course the diversity of animals are also there. So variety of microorganisms are there, variety of the insects and the birds and the animals are there, where the variety of the plants are there. And for the variety of plants, what is responsible? The environmental factors like the required temperature, proper pH of the soil, and heavy rainfall. Wherever there is a heavy rainfall, there are presence of the varieties of the plants, and if there varieties of the plants are there, the varieties of animals are also there, and that completely forms an ecosystem. So ecosystem में क्या क्या आता है? Abiotic factor मतलब जो नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स है, लाइक वाटर है, सॉइल है, रॉक्स है, and environmental conditions like temperature, moisture, pH of the soil. और बायोटिक फैक्टर में क्या आता है? लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स like microorganisms, insects, plants, and some higher animals. So this everything together forms an ecosystem. इन सब का मिला के क्या बन जाता है? Ecosystem बन जाता है. तो क्वेश्चन आता है, what are the components of an ecosystem? So what you are going to write? There are two components of an ecosystem. What are those? Living component and non-living component. Okay, living component and non-living components. So student, there are two types of ecosystem basically. Natural ecosystem and man-made ecosystem. अब नेचुरल इकोसिस्टम में क्या क्या आता है? फॉरेस्ट है ना, फॉरेस्ट ही क्या है? नेचुरल इकोसिस्टम है. वाई फॉरेस्ट इज नेचुरल इकोसिस्टम? बिकॉज इट इज नेचुरली फॉर्म. हमने नहीं बनाया है फॉरेस्ट को, ठीक है. अब जैसे कि ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज से बनाए गए इकोसिस्टम की हम बात करेंगे, लाइक एग्रीकल्चरल फील्ड है. एग्रीकल्चरल फील्ड इज मैन मेड इकोसिस्टम because there basically the farmer carry out the monoculture where the single types of crops are grown there, okay, but it is an ecosystem because the crops growth is depend on the soil and the waterfalls, right? So these are the non-biotic components. Soil is an inorganic substance, soil is a non-living matter, right? So the growth of the crops is depend on the particular soil. So there is the interaction between living and non-living component, and the small insects present in the surrounding and the birds that depend on the crop growth, right? They feeds on the leaves, the insects feeds on the leaves, they feeds on the stem, right? Yes, of course that damages our crop, but now here right now we are discussing about the ecosystem, okay, we are not discussing about the improvement of the crop. So yes, that the insects feeds on the crop and hence they are dependent on the plants, right? So agricultural field is the man-made, human-made ecosystem. Even the dam is also man-made ecosystem. अब damp ecosystem क्यों है? Because in the dam the water is stagnant, so lots of microorganisms are there, then phytoplanktons like protozoans are there, then plants are there, animals like fishes and other aquatic animals are there, so that together forms an ecosystem. Even the lake is a natural ecosystem. Okay, so इसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन आता है कि write two examples of man-made ecosystem and two examples of natural ecosystem. Okay, now tell me, aquarium Okay, aquarium. What kind of ecosystem is it? Is it the natural ecosystem or man-made ecosystem? Yes, it is artificial, that is the man-made ecosystem, right? So you have to write definition of ecosystem in your notebook and write two examples of natural ecosystem and man-made ecosystem in your notebook, क्योंकि ये क्वेश्चन बहुत बार पूछा जाता है, right? So tomorrow we will discuss about the type of organisms in the ecosystem like herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous, decomposers, producers. Then we will discuss about the food chain, food web, trophic levels, and some numericals are also there in this chapter where you are going to calculate the amount of energy remains in a particular trophic level. The numericals are very easy, and at the last we will discuss about the management of waste. Okay, so now this is discussion time, children. If you have any doubt, you can drop me a message in the chat box.